Okay, so trading can kind of be broken down into 7 key levels through the trader's journey. Trading is kind of like similar to any other skill, where it's subject to the Dunning-Kruger effect. So in the beginning, when you're learning a new skill, you kind of know nothing about it. So you don't know how much you don't know. So the level one, the beginning phase, is exploration. You haven't really made money, you haven't really lost money, but you're kind of interested in learning about this new cool thing. This looks really cool. I can make so much money from this. This is what you think. Oh, how hard can it be? Yes, a lot of people fail, but I'm different. And so you consume a lot of content, watch YouTube videos, join Discords. You don't really, you're just kind of randomly doing stuff. You're guessing, um, and on a demo account probably, and then you go into level two, which is that you start, okay, you've profited on a demo account. I've made, $1,000 on this 10K account. I made 10% back, or I've doubled this demo account. Might as well put my own money in because how hard can it be? It's so easy. Everyone talks about trading being so hard, but I've, doubled this demo account. Okay, let me just put my own money in and double that as well. And so, this is peak of Mount Stupid here, peak of Mount Stupid. You don't know how much you don't know. And so you open your own personal account, you put your own money in, or you go for a big prop firm challenge, and you might have some quick success on a live account, which I did. My first account was like, um, $200 that I put in. I doubled that account. I was like, oh, this is so easy. Think about how much money you can make. Oh, this is so, I'm gonna make so much money from this. I told my parents, oh, I made fucking $50 today on this $200 account that I've been flipping. And this is where 90% of traders come into. This is still the introduction into trading, and then you hit level three, which is the valley of despair here. So the valley of despair. Yeah. You eventually hit your first losing streak. You might blow your first account or challenge, and it shakes you. So everything was going so well. You had beginner's luck. You're on a winning streak, and then you blow it. You lose. You double it over a week, or you trade well for a month, and you make a lot of money, and then you lose it all within a day or within a week, and it kind of shakes you. So what the fuck just happened? And you start to realize how much you don't know, or maybe you try it again and you blow another account. But in this sort of phase, you realize how much you don't know. And this is kind of where, 89% of traders find themselves, the valley of despair. And this is kind of the introduction that gets you into trading. Phase four is where you actually start to try to become a profitable trader. You realize how much you don't know and you work towards fixing that. So you trade regularly, but you're stuck. You still kind of, you suck at trading, you're still relatively new, and you just lose even more money. Common problems in this phase are consuming more information, thinking that it'll make you better. You learn more, but your results don't improve because you're just hopping from strategies. You maybe just trading for dopamine. You're not journaling, and you're just focusing on winning, not the process. So you're active, you're learning, but you're not improving. And this is where a big drop off between these two phases. Most people quit after this, but 40% of people are stuck in this. And so the constraint, how do we fix this? The constraint is that you take inconsistent actions. You're learning lots of different things, but you never stick to one thing. You're always hopping from one thing to the other. Experimentation is good, but if you're constantly if constantly changing your actions, you're going to get inconsistent results. And so to graduate from this phase, to become, to go from consistently unprofitable to break even here, you need one model, one session, one time. Have consistency. And then you start tracking your execution. You start journaling and collecting data. So that's how you go from level four to break even. And so you might be recovering a little bit. You're around break even, you make money, and then you lose it. But you're not losing aggressively anymore. But you're not making any money either. And you kind of know what to do, but you just don't always do it. You kind of struggle with knowing and doing. And so this is around 20%. Most people just quit after this as well. It gets cut in half, but in here you kind of you still have a lack of a fully defined system. You're starting to collect data and journal, but you actually don't know what works yet. You don't have enough data, and so normally entry timing is unclear. You overtrade, revenge trade. You don't really stick to your plan. You don't really stick to your rules because you don't know why you should follow your rules. You don't have enough data to know what works, and you don't have enough experience. And so that's sort of the constraint. To graduate from this phase, you need to collect more data. You need to keep defining, refining your system. And so you need to refine and analyze that journal data to figure out what leads to profitable trades. So you can do more of what works and less of what doesn't. So define it clearly. That'll fix most of your psychological problems as well. But break even, if you just refine and analyze your system using that data that you've collected in level 4, you might start to have some inconsistent profitability. You can make some money now, but it's inconsistent. Some weeks are solid, some weeks are emotional, and size tends to change, and confidence goes up and down quite a lot. You kind of have an edge, but you struggle to consistently execute that edge. And again, a massive drop off here. Going from break even to inconsistently profitable, because most people just don't journal their trades. Most people don't refine and improve, refine and analyze their journal data. So risk scaling, having trouble executing your system under pressure, having awareness over, lack of clarity as well is another big thing. You kind of know what works, but you need more clarity, and you need more understanding experience. You might, trade well on a small platform account, but if you go on to, go from a 10 to 25K, or if you increase risk, things start to break and you start to make mistakes. So in this phase, gradually increase risk, progressively overload over time. You just need to keep collecting data, keep doing what you have been doing, refining, iterating, improving, getting help as well, getting clarity, trying to teach someone else what your limited success, getting awareness and clarity over what's working, trying to simplify what you're currently doing, making your strategy, your system easier to execute will fix this as well. But yeah, that's kind of how you graduate that phase. Getting towards consistent profitability. That should be a U. You trade one model for strict timing. You set missed trades, review weekly. You don't care about being right. You just care about executing correctly. You have a system that works. You just do it with the risk that will profit from it, and you just you don't really have as many psychological problems anymore. You just keep doing what you keep following the system. Constraint here is just a lack of capital. If you just keep doing the same things with the same execution, you keep scaling, compounding over time. You don't really have to change anything. In level 6, it'll just compound, and you'll pass more prop firms, and you'll get more capital. But yeah, around 2% of traders get here. 1% of traders actually reach mastery, where they get 100K plus. It's not really about a new strategy. It's just about having high capital applied to the same model. So scaling your psychology, scaling risk, and progressively overloading your ability to handle risk as well. But those are the kind of the 7 levels to trading here. Most people go through, the Dunning-Kruger effect, where in the beginning you're so confident, you don't really know much, and then you learn how little you know, and then there's a slow, gradual improvement over time, where you get towards sustainable actions. You start doing the same things, and we'll cover how do we progress through these levels, more specifically through building an edge and having trading systems and everything like that, as well. And yeah, in the beginning it'll be a bit more mechanical, then it'll go to more subjective, and then mastery is like more intuitive. You just implicitly know what works. You've had so much experience. It's a bit of a factor of time in the markets as well. But yeah, so catch you guys in the next video. We'll be covering in a bit more detail some things. But yeah, I know, I remember going through all these different phases, especially this phase here after blowing my first account. But it's an important learning. But it's you just need to take the right actions. It's not luck. Like, there's very specific actions that you can take at each level to progress to the next level. And they tend to be the things that you avoid. The success you want in life tends to come from the work you're avoiding. So it could be journaling your trades, journaling losses, doing tedious, boring work, forward testing, back testing, analyzing data. That is the work that'll push you forward, getting that feedback as well. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.